What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode with your boy Phrankleen. So, story time. This is one of the emails that I get from you guys. By the way, if you would like to send me an email, if you've got a story to share, like I say, these segments, say it like it is pretty eclectic, okay? Spans across everyday topics that affect, every facets of our lives, okay? So, if you want to send me an email about whatever story you want to share, just look in the description below. You find my email address. So this one came actually yesterday. So the person's going to be made anonymous like I do. And I'm going to read it out to you, very quickly. And then I'll just pretty much just give you, background into, how do I say, my own opinion. So there we go. She says, hi, Phrankleen, just writing for your opinion on this issue. I like your direct, honest approach, and I feel like it will be needed at this time. I and my husband got married 3 years ago. We were friends with benefits for about a year and a half before we got married. We never really dated. Fast forward to now, he told me weeks ago that he has never loved me, but he's trying to make things work. I've been distraught since then, as can be expected, but I've been trying to keep positive. I've asked him what the issue is, but he said he doesn't know. I'm not rude to him. I respect him a lot and I support him in all ways possible, financially, emotionally, and spiritually, okay? We own a house together with beautiful children. We have minor disagreements here and there, but that's about it. I would never have imagined this would happen. I have no clue that I could be doing wrong, what it is I could be doing wrong, and he claims he doesn't know either. Anyway, to cut long story short, I'm now feeling used and I really want revenge. I'm thinking of contacting immigration to see if his visa can be revoked. I'm a young professional in my late 20s. He met me single and flourishing, and now he wants to leave me with 2 babies as a single mother, when I have done nothing to deserve this. And if he told me how he really felt from day one, I would never have signed up for this. I don't even mind leaving the country just so he won't, claim for stay using our children. I'm so pissed. Pissed mean being angry, right? I believe he has checked out, but it's just a phrase to say. Now, when I ask him if he wants to work things out, he says he doesn't know. Please, if you could take a moment of your time to reply, it would be very much appreciated. Right. There is one thing at the start that I want to repeat very quickly. I and my husband got married 3 years ago. That's not the point. Where is it now? We were friends with benefits for about a year. Friends with benefits for about a year and a half. Sorry, before we got married. We never really dated. We never really dated. We were friends for about a year and a half. Friends with benefit. You never really dated, so you pretty much. So by your own admission, you were friends with benefit. So let me jump on this. Okay, first of all, I empathize with you. It's I understand that it's heartbreaking, but what I strive to do, I try to be objective, and I try as much as possible to be not to be biased, okay? Which is why I'm being objective about my topics and stuff. So, you said for a year and a half, you were, friends with benefit. For those that are watching who probably don't understand that, friends with benefit means you're just having sex, you're just shagging, you're just sleeping with yourselves, right? You're enjoying it. You said it yourself, you guys didn't date. Now, dating someone and, you know, going through it properly allows you to hopefully open your eyes, your inner eyes, and have a proper understanding of the other party and see what their habits are, get to know them, what they are like with finance, what they do for a living, you know, and, you know, through hopefully, I mean, dating doesn't exactly help you get the full picture of what you will get to find out when should you get married with someone and start living on the same roof. But what it does is it gives you a reasonable amount of insight into, you know, what a particular person is like. Do they consume alcohol? Do they consume that too much? Do they smoke? Is the person violent? Are they aggressive? Is the person selfish? What kind of goals are they working on? What plans do they have for the future? So I suppose it helps you to gain, like I said, a substantive insight. But you've just admitted that didn't exactly happen. And I get it. Having said that, you've gone ahead and, by your own admission, so, you know, I'm not present, or I wasn't present, you claim to have been financially committed and emotionally committed and stuff. You started off friends with benefit. This is what I say to people. You must learn to accept responsibility for your own failings. So, but now you are grieved, you're very angry, you want to retaliate. And so she didn't exactly put it in, you know, in clear terms, but I'm deducing that you must have helped him in terms of his status at some point, which is why you were playing with the idea of contacting him immigration to have his visa revoked. But here's the deal. First of all, I'm going to say it to you this way. And this doesn't mean I don't empathize with you in terms of, you know, how you're feeling emotionally, but let's call a spade a spade. Look, it's absolutely possible to have exactly the same outcome if, I'm talking hypothetically now, you're a British citizen, the gentleman in question was a British citizen, okay? I'm guessing you're living here in the UK. Or if you're in the US, for example, you had your permanent residence, he also had his permanent residence, then you amalgamated your feelings, you came together and you decided to start cohabiting, and the same scenario, like you painted it out, you know, played out. So what would you do then? You'll still feel exactly the same way. You'll be angry, right? So, but then you're not going to be running to immigration. So what are you going to do? You want to get him killed? That'll be illegal. That'll be unlawful. So there is something I'm trying to get at. You don't give somebody papers just so that they don't break your heart. I know it's a very difficult pill to swallow, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful manner, you know, in a patronizing manner. Honestly, I mean this from the depth of my heart. But we've got to be able to tell ourselves the truth, and I'm hoping somebody else is watching this and you can learn from this. You cannot say, you know, yes, you are good. If you're good to someone, you do them favor, but you don't say because you gave him papers. Let me tell you something, man. Because you gave somebody papers doesn't mean, oh, there was a lifetime assurance of, oh, you will never break my heart. Oh, you never let me down. You never walk away. People walk away every day from relationships for irreconcilable differences, for cheating, for DV, domestic violence, numerous reasons. Do you get what I'm saying? One party might have a ghastly accident and they become bedridden, their lifestyle completely changes, and the other party can't cope emotionally and they end up breaking away. Sometimes finance, sometimes health problems, sometimes money, and the list goes on. Sometimes it might be extended family, you know, related issues. But in this situation, I want you, if you get to watch this video, to accept the fact that you are as responsible for the demise of this relationship as the man involved. Reason why? You picked that man, so you'll have to live with the consequence. Hopefully learn and move on with your life. You see, I think it's evil. I think it would be callous to say, because he turned around to say, for, you know, and also the thing I'm bearing in mind here is, I'm only hearing from your point of view. And that's not to discredit you. I'm not suggesting that you're making this up. But There are two sides to every story. Some even say there are three sides. So if I was privileged to be able to speak to that gentleman, I'm sure there will be a completely different interpretation that comes from his angle. Okay, so but I go by what you've sent to me, which is trying to get his visa destroyed. As long as there is no evidence that it was a sham marriage being, I would say maybe you found out that, oh, he's already got a wife in the background somewhere and kids, and he lied to you that he was single and stuff. People break up every day. You cannot, look, let me tell you, man, if you try to do that, you go to the immigration and say, oh, because you're jilted, because to me, he's no longer interested. So, but you're saying because you gave him papers. It's not enough grounds. Legally, it's not grounds. Because even if you claim, you can bear in mind, the court of law, you have to provide evidence. If you sue him, he can sue you. If he gets a badass lawyer, he can take action against you, as you'll be seen as what's that word now? You'll be seen as vindictive. You'll be seen as someone who's basically just trying to abuse the judicial system and to basically carry out a retaliatory action against him. Relationships end every day. They end every day. But if you had substantive evidence that, oh, this man was in fact married to someone else, or he had gotten someone else pregnant in the background, he was just trying to use it to get his papers and then jump ship and go settle with that other woman who's been in the background all this while, of course, I'll be the first person to support you and raise my hands and say, go ahead and pull the trigger. But in these circumstances, you have got to accept the truth and move on. And at the end of the day, this man is the father of your kids. Again, I'll ask you to stop in your tracks. You can separate with someone and that person can still be a fantastic dad to their son, their daughter, or their children. So that action will, in a sense, still deprive your children access to their father. But then, this is what I'm saying, you'll be weaponizing your children, you'll be depriving them of a healthy relationship with their father. You see, there are two adults. Okay, he's been a dick, he's let you down, whatever. But do you have the right to deprive your children of access to their father? Now, if he turns out to be a deadbeat dad, if he turns out to just, jump ship, turn his back on you and the kids, not supporting them financially, emotionally, not spending time with them, not picking them up at weekends or during the week or whatever, not turning up at their school and whatnot, not being involved is what I'm saying, then, and you decide to forge on by yourself, of course, that's a totally different conversation. But if you shut the other person out simply because you're unhappy with how the relationship ended acrimoniously, I think that's evil, that's selfish, and the vulnerable children are being or are going to be deprived of access to their father. This happens a lot by moms, no disrespect to anybody, but I think it's selfish, it's unfair to use the outcome of your relationship with their father as a reason to deprive him from having access to, to his children. If he wants to see his children and carry out his fatherly duties, you don't have the right, you shouldn't deprive him of doing such. Okay, I understand that sometimes the bad emotion can carry on lingering for a long time, but it's not a justifiable reason. Okay, so in these circumstances, I would say for the sake of your children and not getting yourself in a twist with authorities, okay? Also, it's perjury, which carries a hefty fine and hefty outcome in the court of law. Should you make up on true story or unfounded allegations, should your matter go to the court, go to the court of law. Also, remember the devastating effect that might potentially have on your children, because what the state does is when there is a lot of back and forth between the father and mother, the state is going to take an objective view. They're not bothered the slightest. they are just going to say, are these children, you know, they might even turn around and find you toxic and say they don't believe the children, you know, are in a healthy environment, and they might use that to even revoke the children off you. It's up to you though, you know, at the end of the day, the ball's in your court. But this is my own view. This is just advice. You don't have to take it, and I'm hoping somebody watching this would hopefully learn from this. All right. I do not trivialize your situation. I do not take it for granted. Whether you believe me or not, that's, you know, that's another separate thing entirely. But as I said, you need to accept responsibility. You need to accept responsibility that, you know, you failed catastrophically. You were, you know, shit happens. That's life. You were carried away. You were having sex. I suspect the sex was great. You both were smashing. You said to yourself there was no time to date. So basically, you picked the wrong person. So you should accept responsibility for your own failings. If that man feels the same way, I would say the same thing to the man, that you should accept responsibility for your own failings, because you got into that so-called relationship with a pretty much, you know, wrecked and really frail and weak foundation. Because why? You were dating, you got carried away with the sex, it was great, yeah, it was fantastic and all that. You didn't really look, is this person for me? I'm sure there would have been tell signs, but you were blinded by the good times and all that. And now, for whatever reasons that he has not, you believe he has not communicated to you, you know, you believe you've been let down, you're devastated and stuff. But hey, move on. Move on, move on, move on. Okay? The idea of going to immigration and trying to revoke or destroy his visa just because he said to you he's no longer interested. He is actually within his rights to. What if it was you? You're within your rights. There is no law that makes it mandatory for anybody to be in a relationship. But I understand in the immigrant community, you know, you've given somebody papers and so, and that's not to suggest that, oh, it's okay for anybody to flagrantly go into anyone's life. This is why I go back to the point. Be careful, watch, think, watch before you leap. Who are you getting involved with? Okay? If you both had your permanent statuses before you started cohabiting and decided to buy a house and have children, the same outcome would play out. So what would you have done then? Anyway, it's your boy Phrankleen. If you haven't, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, show your love, man. Look through our video, leave your comments below. If you want to send me an email, foodchannel1960@gmail.com. Look in the comment section, in the description part of the video, and I'll definitely catch you in the next one. Peace and love. Bye now.